I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Tuesday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 97th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 28, verses 1 to 9, discussing how Isaac instructed Jacob to take a wife from among the daughters of Laban, his uncle. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 28, verse 10, and read through verse 15. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 28, beginning at verse 10. Jacob left Beersheba and went towards Haran, and he came to a certain place and stayed there that night, because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. In this section of chapter 28, we have Jacob fleeing to Haran from his brother Esau. We find that Jacob left Beersheba, the place where his father lived, and went towards Haran. We read that Jacob came to a certain place, what place we don't know at this point, and stayed there the night, because the sun had set. Now Jacob didn't have a place to stay at in this place, so he took a stone, placed it under his head, and fell asleep. During his sleep he dreamed a dream where he saw a ladder set up from the earth that reached heaven. On this ladder he saw the angels of God going up and down on this ladder. What they were doing is not quite told to us, but remember that the angels of God are ministers of God, spiritual beings that do the Lord's will. Now, we don't know everything we would like to know about angels, but we have met angels in this book already, and they are always seen as ministers of God. This ladder shows us that God still had fellowship with man, that he hadn't abandoned mankind because of our sinfulness, but was active in the affairs of this earth and in bringing about our salvation. At the top of this ladder was God. He spoke to Jacob and revealed himself as the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. Now, as we said in chapter 26, Abraham was dead. He had been dead for about 55 years by this point, yet God was still the God of Abraham. The point is that God is the God of the living, not the dead, showing us that Abraham's spirit still lived on. God also says that he is the God of Isaac, showing us that God is still in fellowship with Isaac because of Isaac's faith. What does God reveal to Jacob? He reveals to him that through him and his offspring they would possess the land of Canaan, and that through them all the nations of the world would be blessed, a promise of the Messiah. This is the same promise that God gave Abraham in chapters 12, 15, 17, and 22, and the same promise that God gave Isaac in chapter 26. God also promised to be with Jacob on his journeys, bring him back to the land, and not abandon him until he had done what he had promised. In other words, God is true to his word, which of course we know he was. Now there are some that are more scholarly than me that see an additional meaning to this dream as being representative of Christ, with Christ being the ladder through whom we have access to the Father because of Jesus' death and resurrection. Verses like John 1:51, which talk about angels ascending and descending on the Son of Man, are used to support this view. While it is true that we have access today to God through Jesus, and while language in John 1 might evoke some similarities to this dream, I believe that people are reading further into this text than was intended. This dream shows us that God was still in fellowship with man through faith, still communicates with man, and still protects man. Since no other Bible passage that I could find reads further into this text, let's try to avoid making assumptions on a deeper meaning without more solid evidence. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 28:16.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to